Why, hello there everyone. KCR Jones here, and I'm here today in my basement of the NicholFloyd Railway. And right in front of you that you see on the layout is a box. I'm going to be starting a new series as of the day you see this video. Will be the first episode of a new series I'm starting called From the Shipping Box. Basically, trains that I buy new, whether they're repeats of stuff that I have, new stuff I want to look at, new stuff in my collection, engines, cars, anything like that. I'm pretty much going to open up from how I get it, from how it's shipped. I'll do a full review that you're about to watch. I'll do some history on the item, of the real item, of the model, stuff like that, you know, and then do a running session towards the end. Let's go ahead with the unboxing. I have just a regular old razor blade here. But let me get in. And there goes the packing slip. In case he fails at cutting a line through a box. Ooh. Looks like the guy taped this thing on the inside. Well, I'm not kidding. This thing is... Wow, okay. You can see that the guy actually secured it with interior tape. What we have, I'm hoping this is... Oh, yes. Here it is, everyone. My brand new State of Maine, New Haven refrigerator car. Okay, so around now I'm going to take the item out of the box. And as I do so, I'm going to kind of go through this thing's history of how I first found it. So it was just a normal night. I think it actually was a Tuesday night, which is when I'm filming this on. I was looking through eBay, looking through New Haven stuff, which I tend to do. And this is one of the first items I saw, and there's an instruction manual in the box. And I rushed up to my mom and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to buy this. And I noticed it was an auction because, well, I wanted to buy this because I don't know how many of these things I'm going to find. And especially with MTH's closing pretty soon, it's like, wow, kind of get what you can for MTH. But this isn't just any refrigerator car, by the way. It's an operating reefer car, which is the main reason why I was like, I have to have this. This is an operating scale car. Most people think when they hear of an operating reefer car like this, it's, you know, post-war, semi-scale. No, this is to scale and everything. And it's New Haven. Bonus for me. And there's some little peanut inserts here. There is this tray. Very cool. There is a tube of MTH Proto Smoke, which I don't really use this too much. I make my own smoke fluid when I have to. There are boxes of dry ice. I will go on in a minute about New Haven's history on this car, because believe me, it's very different to what many people would think. And, ooh, good weight. I'm already feeling some good weight on this. But here she is, folks, and the water is running upstairs, so I hope that doesn't show up too much on camera. Wow. Look at that. Gorgeous looking car. Gorgeous looking. The guy was correct, this is mint condition. Alright, let me clean up the area. And I'll come back with you guys in a minute. Alright folks, here's what we have. In front of you is an MTH Premier operating reefer car from cataloged from 2016 in the New York, New Haven, and Hartford State of Maine livery. Now this livery might look a little bit strange to some people, considering most of them know New Haven for the script emblem and or the McGuinness logo. But New Haven actually had 100 of these cars in this fashion. They were actually in order from the Pacific Car and Foundry when 100 of these insulated boxcars numbered 45000 through 45099, it was an extension from the Bangor and Aroostook Railroad's potato cars, which to most New Haven folk, we nickname these cars the potato cars, actually, instead of calling these reefers. And that's one thing you really don't see that much done right. Now, not to say this car is wrong, I will say that this car was not a refrigerator car. It was almost identical to one. But to those who don't know, reefer cars back in the day, you'd have these hatches on top, like these, and over on there. You would put ice cubes in these and keep them cold. New Haven never really needed to keep potatoes cold during shipments. In fact, there were actually charcoal heaters in them when it was too cold outside to keep the potatoes warm upon delivery. Which, that's another thing you'll notice, state of Maine products. There are potatoes from Maine to be shipped via the New Haven Railroad out to the food facility or the food exchange in New York. Now, to save money, why some people might say, hey, I've seen Bangor and Aroostook cars that look just the same way. And like I've said, this car was an extension of the Bangor and Aroostook. That was because New Haven, to save money, they decided to only change out on the white band New Haven instead of Bangor and Aroostook and New Haven insignia. That was pretty much the only difference beside, paint job wise, versus the regular state of Maine cars. In the late 60s, a lot of these cars were refurbished and given the later Alpert scheme, which was a dark brown with the New Haven block lettering on the right side of the car. Another thing about this car that a lot of people would see differently to, let's say, a boxcar is the height. Now, I actually do have a Reefer O-scale boxcar in the state of Maine livery, which is also New Haven. But if you do take it out, both of these cars are scale, and this isn't manufacturer's differences. These cars are to scale, but you will notice that the MTH potato car, as I'm going to call from here on out, because I'm going to call this a potato car, is lower in height than a PS1 boxcar. And that is correct. A lot of reefers that were actually at a lower height along with these potato cars. As I've mentioned, the ice hatches on top don't really bother me that much, as long as, you know, the car itself is a good car. And of course, like I said, this is an operating car. I don't know how many of these I'm going to run across, so I definitely had to get it. But I will admit, the fact that it is a reefer is a little bit, just, it's like, you know, like, I get it. There's one centralized tooling you use. It's just a freight car. It's really not the end of the world. But it would just be nice to know if they weren't on there. And to be really fair, it's a dark color. You don't notice it that much. They are there, yes, but it's really not that bad. But I do want to say that something they got right was the door. This is something that a lot of people don't think of, are these doors, and I will bring it closer to the camera for you to see. But the reason for these cars to be this way was because of what is kind of nicknamed a vault-style bank door, which, if you look, are also known as a plug door. The car is flush with the door. Now, that's not molded in or anything. That's how the real cars were. For the car to be insulated, you pretty much need to cut off any way for air to come into the car or really go out of the car, but also keeping the merchandise inside safe. And one thing with perishables is that you really don't want them in a car for too long with too much new air insulation. And of course, if you have a car that needs to be cold or hot, you also don't want that heat or cool temperatures to enter or exit the car. Just before we get to testing this car, this, as I've stated, is an operating car. It is an operating scale car, which you don't hear that often in the scale realm. So a big nod to MTH, which he actually started doing this in 2001. I could be wrong there, but the earliest car I could find was from 2001 from this range in the scale realm. And that is something that was carried over from the post-war days, back from the old Lionel operating milk car, the operating merchandise car, or even the American Flyer ones at that too. But this, as I've said, is a scale car. There's nothing wrong with running, you know, semi-scale stuff and scale stuff together, but it's really cool when you can see a scale car with all this nice detail and everything that also has playability. And that's something that O is known for. Besides it having a bunch of great features and enhancements that we can have from a large scale, we also have playability, which can bring young blood into the hobbies. And that's especially another reason why I bought this car, is when train shows start up again, I actually travel to as many of them that I can with a small operating layout. And this is definitely going to be a piece I'm going to bring with me and show people and say, hey, look at this. This car smokes, this car throws out boxes, the doors open and close, and all you have to do is press a button. It's really cool. So as I was perusing the instruction manual, I noticed that only the engineer's side door can open. And when you open it up, you see this compartment here, which, there we go, I will load the crates into. There's a man here, and I'm not sure if you can see it, but I'm going to turn it, or the car. If you see a little black canister to the right of that man, I'm not sure if focus is going to pick that up. That is a smoke unit. So this thing has not been used. This was actually bought supposedly brand new, and when I was reading the manual, it actually said they do not ship this thing with smoke, and they don't recommend you to move it that much while there's smoke in the unit, because it can tip out pretty easily in this specific model. So I'm going to load this thing with some smoke, put it on the track, and hope that it works. But I actually do want to load these boxes in, and before I do, I want to actually just study this box real quick. What does it say? There we go. So this crate says, handle with care. Use gloves and eye protection. Sorry I had to move it away. That is really tiny font. And on the side it says dry ice, temperature negative 78 degrees Celsius, CO2. And while I can, let me actually see how this thing works. So I just plop them in like this. I'm hoping this is right. The manual didn't say much, actually. Oh, okay, this is interesting. So, the car can only hold 3 boxes in this tray, so I actually have to have... Oh, they don't come out. There we go. It says I only need to have 1 box inside the car, and then I start it up. Like that. So, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn this car around, have it facing us, and I'll pretty much work the magic on the other side of this car. And how does this car work, by the way? I did not cover that. Give me 1 second. Okay, so I have this car on my layout, I have the power on the track, and I'm just hoping I'm centering this thing right, and it actually works. So without further ado, I'm going to press the button and see if she actually does anything. Okay, that has to be arguably one of the coolest things I've seen in O-Scale in a long time. I'm already seeing the smoke rise up a little bit. Wow, that was actually really cool. Okay, I'm going to load this thing up with the rest of the crates, and basically I'll do some shots with this. Alright, so here we go, folks. Here's all 4 boxes loaded into the car and the smoke unit primed. So let's see how this thing actually works. I'm just going to make sure the ramp's good. Okay, let's see this thing in action. Whoops. Oh no. Okay, so that was caught on camera. So the box didn't actually come out, and it stayed. But yeah, one of those boxes didn't throw. That's partly due to my layout not being balanced properly. But I will admit that, okay, this car works. It looks good, it sounds good, it smokes. What scares me is it pops when the smoke unit goes on. But the boxes do come out. Like I said, my layout's a little counterbalanced in this area, so I'm okay. I'm glad I was able to fix that problem pretty quickly that you saw on recording. But for what I'm filming now, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Really, I'm not saying, you should subscribe and like and everything, and I know I'm not the best, I'm not the most professional person in this, but, I just really like making videos, and I've loved collecting these trains and everything, and it's like, this is something really cool. I've said it before, I don't know how many more of these I'm going to find. I had to jump at the opportunity to own this thing, and I'm happy with my purchase, but what I'm saying is for you guys, I'm not saying you should like and subscribe. I'm not asking you to, but I am going to say if you want to, I'm not going to stop you. I do plan on making more videos like this soon, and, well, it really means a lot to me just to see someone subscribe. Like, it's like, wow, someone cares. And I hope you learned some stuff, by the way, about me saying, the history behind this, and, well, that's about it. I do just want to say one more thing, continuing on, about how this is not a reefer car. This is a model. It's not supposed to be, the accurate representation. It's nice when it's accurate, but something I like, I'm going to do it again, actually, is, look at this. I think that door is open. Yeah, it is. The smoke. I love smoke. Like I said, I make my own smoke fluids myself. I love to get cars that smoke like this. So any car that has, playability rights like that smoke, that's like, in my books, I like that. I really do. And I hope that you enjoyed the video, and I hope you like this car. If you're interested in buying one of these, this was a 2016 run, and everyone's trying to find as much MTH stuff as they possibly can, so I would say stalk eBay at this point. See if you can find any of them. Like I said, I got this one actually for 56 bucks was my winning victory price on the auction, but there's a lot of paint schemes. There's like 400 of these things made. Not 400 paint schemes, but there were at least 400 variations I could find on the MTH website, so there's probably one for you. But all seriousness though, if you do want to like and subscribe and comment and everything, that is very much appreciated. Especially if you actually want to comment on this, say anything I've probably got some stuff wrong, call me out on it. If you like stuff and you learn some stuff, then hey, tell me that, you learned stuff. I love doing this because, well, I'm not just doing this for me, I'm doing this for you, the viewers. And by all means, like I said, subscribe. I'll definitely have more stuff like this. I'm going to insert some footage of this thing running around and operating. Until then, take care and Casey out.
Clear through